Senator Fischer, it is so nice to see you. Thank you for joining me for a conversation with Biofuel Champion. And you and I were just reminiscing about our time together in Council Bluffs when we got that year-round E15, and you were so critical for that, really one of the greatest milestones that we've had in many years as an industry. So thank you for that and all that you've done and continue to do for the industry. Let me start with just a very broad question. Tell me why supporting biofuels is so important, and the Nebraska farmer is so important to you.
Oh my goodness, you know, ag is so important to Nebraska's economy. I always say it's the economic driver of the economy, and when you look at the role that biofuels play, it's key. It is key to our economy. And when agriculture does well, all of Nebraska does well. So when we look at our ethanol plants, and what they add, not just to our economy, but to our rural communities, to the heartland as a whole, I think it is so important to continue to recognize that. We really have over 1,300 Nebraskans who have those good paying jobs. We have about a $5 billion impact on the state annually, and so that's a message that I think it's vital to push, especially in a state like Nebraska where we have corn and we have cattle, and then you have ethanol that's connected to both. So it's a good story. It's a good story, and we need to make sure that we continue to push it so that our farmers feel that support. Our cattle producers feel it, our biofuels people feel it as well.
You know better than anyone, our growth opportunity is going to be higher blends. And for years, you have been on the front lines pushing for access. How many conversations have we had over the years about RVP? And you authored the legislation for year-round E15, working on removing regulatory barriers. Talk about why higher blends and expanded infrastructure is going to be so important to Nebraska. And what are some of the priorities that are top of mind for you as you look ahead for that real pivotal growth opportunity?
Well, as you know, Emily, we were talking earlier about how that was a high point to have that announcement in Council Bluffs. Everyone landed in Nebraska, though, at Epley and traveled over to Iowa. But to be able to have that announcement and really the excitement there, that was a special day. And as we were also talking earlier, there are high points and there are low points in this business. But to be able to have that year-round E15 sale, it gives certainty. It gives that certainty to families here in the heartland, so that they know that they're not going to see the peaks and valleys, hopefully, so much. COVID, of course, has changed a lot of that. But with E15 available year-round, you're going to have consumers be able to go to the pump and not be confused about, gee, what happened to the E15? You know, I was getting that before, where is it now? So that's to be able to eliminate that confusion, get people to try ethanol beyond it, and realize that it's going to be there for them, and that it is a good fuel to have, and it's vital for our nation to have that, so that we can really meet our energy needs. So I was very excited for the E15. That was one of the fun ones. That was one of the fun ones to work on. So, you know, we're going to continue to do what we can to continue to promote that. The USDA came out with an announcement announcing the Higher Blends Infrastructure Incentive Program, so the HBIP, and they announced that. And I know the deadline was earlier this month, but I'm excited to see how that program's going to play out. I think that's going to offer us another opportunity. So I'm excited to see that.
I will say that our retail partners that we've cultivated over the years, they did submit applications for more than 33 million in grants as part of that program. So, and glad to see that that was something that the administration is committed to and followed through on. So
Yes.
maybe moving down to a lower point, small refinery exemptions. EPA just updated its dashboard. We're now looking at almost 100 pending exemptions. We know the first 81 granted was $4 billion in demand destruction for the industry. Why is it critical that EPA address exemptions once and for all?
Rural America deserves better. Rural America deserves certainty and predictability. And we need to know that, that the EPA isn't going to just pull it out of a hat and grant a waiver. You know, these gap year SREs that we're looking at now. It's, I think it's a way that they have found that you can circumvent the decision by the 10th Circuit Court. That decision was very clear. And just because I'm a huge supporter of biofuels, I think anybody can read it, and it's very clear. It states that the refinery can only receive new exemptions if it's gotten them forever, if it's had it since the program began, and they've continued to have those. This decision by the EPA, I believe, goes against what the court decision said, and I think it also undermines the intent of Congress at the time that the RFS was enacted. That is really unprecedented action by an agency. And believe me, there are many of us who are making our views known, not just to EPA, but to the president as well. Because this is, you know, action by a bureaucrat that is really upending people's lives. It is upending businesses who have made huge investments. It is upending rural communities. It is upending the economies of a state like mine in Nebraska, where we see about $5 billion a year coming in from our 24 ethanol plants that add to our economy. So it has to be addressed. And as we were saying earlier, to see something like this, these gap year SREs, it's very disturbing, because another fight's coming in 2022 when we look at the RFS and reauthorizing the RFS, and that is going to be it's going to be tough. We need to get more people in our tent and more supporters, and be able to tell our story and not be on the defense all the time. We should be promoting what a clean fuel it is, that it's better for the environment, better for the land, obviously better for rural communities, and challenge people. You know, everybody says, gee, the family farms, we need the family farms. Well, let's put a challenge out there. You know, if you truly believe there is value in rural America, just stand up for rural America.
In a few short weeks, rural America will be virtually coming to Washington, D.C. as part of our annual Biofuel Summit. And we have conversations with you every time. This is our biggest fly-in with members of the year. Why is it so important for you to hear directly from our members, our supporters, from biofuel producers?
Well, first of all, I love seeing you. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it with the Zooming thing this year, which is okay. But I love seeing all these folks. We speak the same language. We understand each other. But it's important for me to be able to hear the challenges that stakeholders are facing, to hear those stories, so I can share those stories with my colleagues, to hear suggestions, and how we can improve, or maybe we need to reach out to this group over here to be able to get our message across better. And it's always good to have a united front. So I always find it very valuable, not just once a year, but throughout the year, to be able to visit with stakeholders and to exchange those ideas, to support each other, to give each other a boost, so that we're able to meet the challenges that we're going to have in the future.
Well, we are incredibly fortunate to have you in our corner, and we are in your corner as well. Thank you, Senator Fischer. So nice to see you. Stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in person very soon.
Oh, thank you. It's great to visit with you.